Post-flood satellite images of Mozambique showed that the Cyclone Idai submerged about 835 square miles of homes and fields, an area larger than New York City, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and Boston combined. Aid workers in Mozambique described the floodwaters as inland oceans extend for miles and miles. The death toll in Mozambique, Zimbabwe, and Malawi reached 761 just on Monday, but that total will surely rise. There are reports of hundreds of bodies alongside a single road as flood waters begin to recede. My guest is Cheryl Nelson, founder of Prepare with Cher. She, as I said, is a TV host, spokesperson, meteorologist, natural disaster preparedness expert, and travel preparedness expert. Cheryl Nelson, welcome to the show. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me. How are you?
I'm great. First of all, curious, how did you get into this kind of work? You obviously have spent a lot of time on the continent.
It's a great question. So I knew since I was 9 years old that I wanted to be a broadcast meteorologist. So I actually did that for a decade, various TV stations up and down the East Coast, from Syracuse all the way down to Norfolk, Virginia, where I reside now. And my passion was always preparing people for different types of weather and different types of disasters. And after doing that for a decade, I said, you know what? I still want to do some TV work, but I really want to focus my aspects now on preparing individuals, preparing families and their pets for all different types of disasters, whether it be tropical, like cyclones and hurricanes, or tornadoes or winter storms, because it's one thing that I think a lot of us don't take seriously. Maybe because we don't think it'll happen to us. Maybe it's because we don't have the means to prepare, or maybe it's because we just don't know how to prepare. And that's a big problem worldwide.
Do you do this work globally, internationally?
So I primarily focus in the United States. I have done some work in Canada, but I would love to expand and take this work internationally as well, because, I mean, places like Africa, as you know, they don't have the infrastructure. They don't have the mitigation. A lot of their money that they get actually goes to relief efforts and not toward preparing people. And that's a big issue over there as well.
So the UN just yesterday, just was practically on its knees, begging the United States and the global community at large to go into their pockets and bring relief, different aids and clothing and medicine and food and water, as well as opening up their wallets. How much is this needed, and what has this cyclone? How is it going to most impact around the coast? Not only geographically, but for many individuals, this is the only source of making a living, is working at these different resorts and tourists, and also people that fish for a living and that sort of thing. Tell our listeners how devastating this is.
I mean, this is life-changing, and it's not for the better. I mean, this is the worst-case scenario for these people along the coast. And as you said, I mean, that's where most of them live, because that's where most of the economy comes from. You get the tourism and you get the fishing. And these people's towns, their homes, have been destroyed. I saw somewhere over 36,000 homes completely leveled. And I also read that a lot of the people in Mozambique don't make more than $2 a day doing work.
Right.
And so it doesn't sound like a lot, but, you take that away and then they have nothing and they have nowhere to go home to. And you have over 100,000 people in camps right now just trying to get the basic necessities like food and access to clean water. And the problem with that is so many people in such a tight space. There have now been unconfirmed reports of malaria and cholera.
Yeah,
all these diseases. And so they really need access to clean water. It's so important. I think it's a lot of what us here in the U.S., we take for granted. We don't understand how important that is for life.
Well, we have hurricanes and other natural disasters here in the United States. And guess what? We pretty much know they're going to rebuild. Look at New Jersey and the Jersey Shore and all of that after Sandy. It's pretty much back to 100%. What's the likelihood that they could get back to even 20% in the next year in Mozambique?
Oh, in the next year, I don't think that's going to happen at all. I mean, even some places from Katrina and Sandy, even some of them have yet to rebuild. Although most people have, there are pockets who haven't. And you're talking about an area that's very impoverished. So unless they get the aid and the need, how are they going to rebuild? I mean, roads are washed out. They don't have electricity. So this is going to take probably decades for them to get back to anything like what it was.
Well, Cheryl, I just find you absolutely fascinating, the work that you do. How do we find out more about you and what you do?
So my website is preparewithcher.com, and Cher is spelled Cher. It's actually short for my name, Cheryl, so preparewithcher.com. I'm also on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Cheryl Nelson TV. And again, I do a lot of preparedness work. I put a lot of tips out there, and my heart goes out to everybody in Mozambique and all the countries there on the African coast.
All right, then, Cheryl, thank you so much. What a pleasure to meet you, and keep up the good work, and I hope that I can talk to you again.
I would love that. Thank you so much.